I'm Zach, and this is Penelope. We're the territory sales managers here at Kalogon. So I cover the East Coast. So I cover from Florida up to Maine and then over to Texas. And then Penelope covers the West Coast.
Yeah, so I have Texas all the way to California. I have 15 independent reps that cover that area. So if you guys have any questions or want to schedule some in-services, see some products, I can also reach out to those reps. Tracy will send over our email information. If you guys want to send us an email after, if you have any more questions, we're happy to jump on a call and do a deeper dive on the products or answer any questions you guys might have. So to go into the products that we have in market, there are three. We have Booster, which is coated with KO108. And then we have Orbiter Med that's coated with E2609 and Orbiter Classic that's coated with E2610. Which product would you like to go over first, Zach?
We can talk about Orbiter Med. Okay. So Orbiter Med is our most recent product. It's our E2609 coated cushion. So it's going to be a custom configured base that has our same air pressure management technology built into it. And then on top of those air bladders is going to be a layer of Sunmate foam. So as Penelope has right here, this is one of our more customized and more aggressive customized demos, but this one has the 3-inch customization options that we offer. And as you can see here, we can get pretty contoured and custom for somebody. We offer a lateral thigh support, a lateral pelvic support, a medial thigh support, and a preischial ridge for the E2609 customization options. And to hit the code, you just have to have 2 of those 4 options selected. So you could have like a lateral thigh support and a medial thigh support, or a lateral pelvic support and a lateral thigh support, any 2 of those 4 combinations. Or if you want to have all 4, you could have that as well. But the cushion is going to be sensing how someone is sitting, and it completes timed pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes in those air cells along the back. So the front 2 thighs will always remain at the same set pressure to help for posture. And then the 4 air cells along the back will complete pressure reliefs every 2, 3, or 5 minutes. And it's going to be like, if you have the 2-minute mode, it'll be 2 minutes for when it, so it'll go down from the set pressure down to 0, be set down to 0 at 2 minutes, and then raise back up to your set pressure. It'll stay there for 2 more minutes, and then go to the next cell and offload that one and complete it throughout the zones. So you get an element of motion to keep blood flowing and skin nice and healthy. And we've seen a lot of good results with pressure injuries as well as helping posture as well. You want to talk anything?
Yeah. So that was a good overview on the benefits. A little bit more about the cushion. So you have this external cover. This is machine washable on cold, and then you can let it air dry. And then inside of every Orbiter Med cushion and Orbiter Classic, you have an incontinence cover. That is completely waterproof. It goes completely over the hose, so no substance can get into the foam. And then, like Zach said, you can customize it from the base. You can do lateral thigh supports, lateral pelvic supports, medial thigh support, preischial ridge. We will be putting the order form into the chat so everybody can take a look. And then also we have a bunch of different accessory options. Just so everybody knows, it does connect to a control box. This is the brains and the operations behind the cushion. A little bit about this. This weighs about 2 pounds. The whole unit usually weighs about 5 pounds depending on the customizations you have. And then this has an 18-hour battery life on a 2-hour charge. And there are a bunch of different other accessories you can attach to this. We have an extender cord where it plugs into the port right here. And I'll grab it super fast.
Yeah, and then we have that extender, and then we also have another accessory called the XLR charger. So the XLR is a little adapter that goes into the XLR port of a power chair, so you can charge the unit while you're using your wheelchair.
Yeah, so from here you can plug it into the control box, and from here you can turn it off and on, and then also charge it. If anything's going on with the cushion, it will alert you. And then if that does happen, you can always give Zach or I a call, or your independent rep in that area, and they can assist you with that information. Does anybody have any questions about Orbiter Med? Anything you would like us to go over again? I know I talk super fast, so I'm sorry about that. But I'll give a few minutes for anybody that has any questions about Orbiter Med before we dive into Booster, and then we could also do another round of Orbiter Med if anybody has any questions.
For sure. And then I do see Bruno, you asked about a 4-inch high bladder. So the size of the air bladders will be the same in all the cushions for like height wise. If you wanted to have to raise the height for the bladders, you could add more pressure. I'm not sure exactly how much it would add because it's all based on like the weight of someone putting their pressure back on those air bladders. So in reality, you could get closer to like the 4 inches if you had more pressure inside your air bladders under like your thighs. Um, Richard, can you pressure map us on? Can you pressure map? Yeah. So we do a lot of times for like deliveries, our independent reps as well as like the ATPs of the different dealers that we work with will provide a pressure mapping at delivery or during the eval beforehand to make sure the air bladder and the pressure is set proper to you. So yeah, pressure mapping is something that we do recommend. It's not necessary every time. We do recommend it whenever you get a new cushion to have a pressure mapping done with your a therapist or your ATP you're working with.
So a little bit about the interface. So you have a control box, you have the cushion. You're like, okay, now what do I do? How do I program it? It does connect to an app. All three of our products do connect to an app. It's called Kalogon. You can download it on iPhone, Android. So what you want to do is you would turn on the device. There's a power button right here. And then I have the Kalogon app downloaded. From there, you can scan for devices. The serial number will pop up on that's on the control box. You can go in and name that John Smith, Penelope, Zach, whoever's control box this is, and then you press connect. And from there, the settings will pop up. And sorry if you see some just give it a second. There's a bunch of Kalogon units here at Kalogon. So from there, you can see where all the different air cells are placed. So you have one that is both under the thighs, two under the trochanters, and then two under the ITs. Once this redistribution is on, like Zach said, every 2, 3, or 5 minutes, those air cells will independently offload to create that healthy blood flow. And then also you can have up to 10 different presets. So on here, I have a transfer mode where all these air cells are set to 100. I also have a guy who's on an orbiter med and he likes to shoot archery. So he has a preset for raising up these back air cells so he's able to lean into it more. So based on your daily activities, you could really go in here and base your settings on what you do on a day-to-day basis. But I think the app's pretty cool. This is what it looks like again, and this is in the transfer mode.
Yeah, and we try to make the app as user-friendly as possible. So to change the settings, you'll see right there, the bar comes up and you just drag to add or take pressure away. And then you'll feel those the changes happen right there in real time with the air bladders. Yeah, Bruno. So if for that company in specific, I'm not sure how high their different air bladders are, but you're able to adjust the height of our air bladder. So if you had too much pressure, let's say under your thighs, and you needed to lower that, you could go into the phone app like Penelope just had up, click on the thigh bladders, lower that down to where you felt had a little bit less pressure, and then you could save those settings and be good to go. So that is the one nice thing is you don't have to use that phone app every day, but if you do want to use it, you can use it daily to adjust those settings to compensate for all your different daily activities. So yeah, so if you did have too much pressure in like one area and it was too high, you could lower them all down to reduce the height right there. So if they were like at 4 inches, you could lower the pressure down all the bladders and it would lower the height down. And then Jerry, I see you asked a question. The weight capacity right now is 300 pounds on them. We have seen in some cases people go above the 300 pounds, but it's tested up to 300 pounds right now with our current foam stack up and configuration.
I don't remember classic cushion.
You're not answering.
So for Henry, Henry, where are you located? Because I could reach out to one of our independent reps, and also the ATP that you currently work with to see if there's a way for your wife to get pressure mapped on her current orbiter med or orbiter classic. Sorry.
Yeah, and then we have done a lot of different pressure mapping studies just in general, where like those default settings we send out with the cushion will work for obviously a wide variety, but it won't be dialed in specifically to your wife's body type. So that's where we really recommend that pressure mapping. So if you did have like a facility or like a therapist you guys were working with that had a pressure map, it would be really beneficial, I believe. The regular height of our air bladders. So the
Good
air
question.
bladders, they vary based on size. So like I was saying, based on the actual pressure you have selected inside those air bladders, they will vary in height. So if you had like 20%, let's say, it's going to be a lot lower than if you have like 100%, where you're going to get probably closer to like that 4 inch like you were talking about. I can't give you like an exact number just because they do vary. And then when there's no air in them, they're completely flat. So if that was something you were wondering about, is if there was no air, they are completely flat. Yeah, and then for like height wise too, Bruno, for like the foam, the base layer of the cushion is about 1 inch, and then there is like say if you have a pre-ischial ridge, you'll add another inch to it, and then we have one layer of Sunmate viscoelastic foam, which is another inch. So you're looking at around 3 inches on average, like from right here in the front, right there. The air bladders are underneath the layer of Sunmate foam, so in reality, there's not going to be any added height with the air bladder unless you had it going probably above, like I'd say 50%, where that would exceed that little cutout there. And if the cushion did sense that you were like, say, if you were like leaning forward, it would sense you putting more pressure like on your front thighs and lower that automatically, so you're not like exceeding that limit you set in the phone app. So if you wanted them like at 20 and like nice and low, you wouldn't have to worry about the cushion actually adding any pressure and raising it. It would only just lower it down a little bit. So Bruno, there will always so you'll always have the contact with the foam because we're gonna have a layer of the Sunmate foam on top of the air bladders, and then that layer of the customized foam underneath. There's gonna be the air bladders in between, so you won't have to worry about like anything with that bottom layer. But you will always have that initial foam contact from the Sunmate foam that you're gonna be sitting on top of the air bladders.
Yeah, that is sewn into the incontinence cover, and then there's also a layer of polyurethane foam that's inside of the IT bags. Bruno, where are you located? Because Zach and I would be happy to jump on a call and do a deeper dive and see where you're located, see if we can contact one of your dealers if you are interested in Orbiter Med. Oh, Henry, you're based in Chicago. Okay. I'll send you an email after this, Henry, just so we can chat and see what the best scenario is to get in contact with one of our independent representatives so we can get your wife pressure mapped on her Orbiter Classic. Bruno's in Kissimmee. He's right near us.
Very nice.
Yeah. Awesome. Could I use these in my vehicle? Yeah, Richard, you could use it in the vehicle. What's also really cool is it has ambient pressure sensing. So even when you guys are going up into the mountains based on where you live or up in an airplane, it will adjust accordingly based on those ambient pressures. Let's see if there's any other questions in the Q&A. Awesome.
And then Bruno, I'll respond to you via email because I know we have spoken recently just about the cushion via email. So I'll go ahead and I can shoot you another email there and see if we can work about something.
So Richard, you said, do they need to always be plugged into power? So the cushion always has to be plugged into the control box. This is the brains and the operations behind what's going on in the cushion. Regarding charging this, it's an 18-hour battery life on a 2-hour charge. So it does always have to be plugged into the control box to be operating. And then
yeah, so we do have that XLR adapter, Bruno, where you can it just plugs right into the front of the control unit where this port is, and it plugs in right in there to your XLR port on your power wheelchair.
So for charging the control box, a 2-hour charge will give it 18 hours of battery life. So we just say charge it at night with your devices. So 2 hours of charge, 18 hours.
It's about 2 to 4 hours to give you a full charge from a completely dead battery. And then depending on the redistribution setting you have selected and how often, like you're moving around a lot and the cushion's doing a lot of adjustments, it'll vary, but it's about 16 to 22 hours depending on the settings you have selected.
Kim said, is there a mount for manual chairs? Where do people place that controller?
Yeah.
So we do have a mounting system. We should have brought one, but Kim, we can send you a picture and send some more information on that. We do have the mounting system, and then we also have a mount pouch bag. So we have two different options for mounting systems.
Yeah, and then on manual wheelchairs, typically we're mounting them with the mount pouch because it just has two little clips that go into the back, and then the mount that we also 3D print, you can put on like the crossbars underneath the manual wheelchair arm, just like a bar underneath as well. Yeah, we 3D print the control unit as well as the mounts. We can kind of mount on any wheelchair surface. So if you just a lot of and then it just I'm trying to look at your screen too over there. Sorry, we have a backup screen. Oh, frozen, gone, lost them. Okay.
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Okay, we're back.
Awesome.
Sorry about that, guys. Technical difficulties. You know, we have a lot of different control units just going in here. It just takes up the Wi-Fi.
A lot of engineers. They're always testing things, so the Wi-Fi is always in and out. Yeah. But all right, should we go over Booster?
Yeah, you want to talk about the little Booster?
Yeah. So we also have a device. It's called Booster. This is Zach's demo. He accidentally didn't charge it. So if it's not charged, it will alert you visually and audibly. But what this is, it's an air management system for your single cell air cushion. So this is completely separate from Orbiter Med, Orbiter Classic. This is for your single cell air cushions. It will manage and maintain the prescribed pressure that you, ATP, clinician, set it at. So this is meant to stay on the cushion at all times. It will detect leaks, ambient pressure changes, and always keep you at that pressure no matter what. Zach, what is the number one problem with air cushions?
Keeping them properly inflated.
Right. So this takes away the anxiety of, say, a client going home and their loved one being like, oh, honey, your cushion looks low. I'm going to pump it up. And it ends up hurting them more than helping them. This is meant to stay on the cushion at all times and stay at that prescribed pressure no matter what. This is coded with KO108, which is a miscellaneous code. Pricing wise, MSRP, this is $4.99. And then if anybody's interested, you can reach out to your local dealer or even contact Zach and I to get you in touch with someone. Yeah. But do you guys have any questions about Booster? I know the light is blinking. That's only because we forgot to charge it. What's really cool about it is it has a 56-hour battery life. But just with anything else, we say charge it at night with your devices. Just in case you do have a leak, it will pump to stay at that pressure.
Bruno, great question. So it's really only designed to be worked with a single cell air cushions. We have had some one-off cases where it's not recommended, but you know they have used it with a Quattro, and as long as you have all four quadrants open, it will work and function properly. But if you have the quadrants closed, it would only manage the air pressure inside the one quadrant that has the valve attached to it. So I mean, you could have one on each of the four quadrants, and you could have the positioning aspect, but that'd be a little overkill.
Right. So I'm sure you guys are thinking, all right, so this is a neat device. How do we set it up, right? So there's two ways to set it up. We still have that phone app that we use with all three products that we have on market. But what's really cool with this, you could even not even use the phone app. So how you do that is you would press this button to make sure it's on. Still ignore the yellow button. But the green button means that it's on if it's blinking. Then you can put it into clinician mode. It's meant to do one-handed while your clinician is doing their IT check. And then, so then it will say clinician mode enabled. And then the top button becomes a pump. And the bottom button becomes a vent. And then once you're set at that pressure that you want to be at, you can wait 20 seconds, 30 seconds for it to go out of clinician mode, or you could just press down these two buttons again to have that pressure set. And it will tell you when the battery's low. It's a good example.
Yeah. No, that's great. And yeah, like she said, if you has a 72 or 56-hour battery life, so we should recommend charging it overnight when you charge other devices, and then the booster is going to maintain and manage that clinically set pressure. So it is a really nice device. You don't have to really worry about going in there, messing with the app, messing with the settings. You set it up once because you want to have your air cushions. We have that pretty standard pressure. So it is relative to that patient. And then you just really have to make sure you keep it charged. And it is a USB-C charger, so it can be charged a lot of times off of like a wheelchair when they have a USB port. So we have a USB to USB-C adapter that we provide as well. And then I do see Bruno. How long does it last? Bruno has about it's about a 5-day battery life on it, but we recommend to charge it, when you would charge other devices to make sure the battery's full, and you just keep the habit of charging it. But if you do forget to charge it a couple of nights, you'll be able to get a few days use out of it, and then it will tell you once it's getting low, just like mine is right now with that flashing light. It'll also verbally tell you like low battery as well. And then any issues too, let's say if like you take it off to clean your cushion and then you put it back on, but you don't open your valve all the way and there's like a blockage, it'll actually like sense the blockage. It'll have like a little red light come on and it'll tell you that there's a little airway blockage or something like that. If there's a leak present, it'll tell you leak detected and then keep you properly inflated. Yes, name of the device is Booster. Yes. Yep, Booster powered by Kalogon.
Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions about Booster or Orbiter Med?
And like we said earlier, our contact info will be put in the chat as well as like the links to all of our socials and everything like that. So we'd be happy to schedule any follow-up calls. We can do video calls, get on the phone with you guys, answer any questions you might have, and see if we can get you guys either an Orbiter Med or a Booster. And then, and Tracy's just putting in all those socials now in the link. We also recently, Kalogon for the Orbiter Med got featured in Time Magazine as one of 2024's top inventions of the year. So it's pretty cool to be a part of a company that is featured in Time Magazine. It really shows that we're doing something out here to really help people and change the world. So cool. Our engineers are awesome, and we just continue to hope to have that success in 2025 this year. So it was really cool to get featured in Time Magazine, but it's just the beginning here for Kalogon. So, we're really excited everyone joined us today. And
thank you guys.
Yeah, and if no one has any more questions, we can give you 5 minutes back. Oh, just kidding. I think we just got a question in there. Yes, Iris, this should be recorded and then it'll be posted on our website, I believe. If not this week, early next week. And then you'll be able to view it and then send it out to anyone that needs to see it as well. We should have the previous live Q&As in there as well. So if you want to see a couple other ones with me and Penel and see how we stacked up in previous times, you can check those out. Warranty on Orbiter, Bruno, there is an 18-month warranty on Orbiter Med on all components. So as long as you don't go and Gronk smash your control unit, we will, replace it and work with you guys. But yeah, all components, air bladders, cushion, foam, control unit are all covered with an 18-month warranty. And if you need to have any like parts replaced, you can get in touch with Penelope directly, and then our engineers, so we can work with you directly to help any issue that you see out in the field.
Yeah, and then some upcoming events that we have. I will be at Dallas Abilities with Tracy and Caitlin, December 6th, 7th, and 8th. So we're flying over to Dallas. I have a few in-services with the local representative there, and then we will be representing Kalogon at Dallas Abilities. I'm super excited about it. And then any other upcoming events, you can always reach out to us if you have something going on in your area. We love to travel and see what's going on in other locations, so let us know. And then if you guys have any questions or anything, Zach and I's our emails are in the chat, so feel free to follow up with us, and we'd love to schedule a call if you guys have any questions on Orbiter Med or Booster.
Yes. And then if there's any other questions for either of the products, just shoot it in the chat. We have a couple more minutes here. We can answer any final questions for you guys. And I want to thank you all again for taking the time today to join us and learn more about Kalogon and the products we offer. All right. Well, I don't see any more chats coming in. Oh,
Oh,
just
thank
kidding.
you, Henry.
Thank you,
I'll
Henry.
reach out to you after this.
And yeah, so thank you guys again for taking the time today. And thank you all again.
Yeah, thank you guys.
See ya.
Have a good rest of your week and weekend.